Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Delighted you could join us. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff and Tam McManus are here with me to talk football. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you get a chance, and if you hit the bell you'll get all the latest notifications on our unique content that comes up or our live shows weekdays at 4 o'clock. And I think speak for everybody on PLZ, we'd like to thank you for supporting us, subscribing and of course downloading the PLZ Soccer app as well. It's fairly straightforward stuff, and thanks to all the people who have been following us on the podcast too, because as you know, Ruffy, in the 21st century podcasts are really important, and we get great figures from people if they miss the show on YouTube, listen to it as well.
Yeah, I think good thing about podcasts is we like them as well, and you get a good laugh, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of the stuff that we do that people are interested because we talk about Scottish football.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got lots to talk about, and talking about that, we've got some special shows for you as well. One of them will be Gordon Strachan 1-to-1 on the 21st of December. I sat down with him to talk about his career, player and manager, and there's some great stories in there. I do hope you get a chance to watch that, as well as quite a lot of us picking our dream teams. I've picked my all-time Liverpool dream team, which was no mean feat. Ruffy, what have you picked?
I picked my dream team of all the players I've played with in my career.
Which, to be fair, you've played with some real humdingers. I wonder if my team would even get near your team in an 11-a-side game.
I think everybody's team would have a chance,
Yeah,
because they've all picked really quality players.
Isn't it amazing that Tam has picked his, and all I can say is he's left out one world superstar. I mean, if you play with a world superstar, he's got to be in your team. For God's sake, what were you thinking? Don't mention his name yet.
He was well past his best when I played with him, so I didn't get in, sorry.
Wow, that is... I'm gobsmacked to you, Ruffy.
I'm gobsmacked because he wasn't past his best when we saw him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, just before we get into the meat and bones of the matches that are on tonight, thanks to everyone for sending us messages as well. Dundee United say that there's a COVID case, a positive test in the camp, and they're testing everyone else. It's put the Rangers match in doubt, Tam.
Yeah, disappointing. We don't want that to go back to that last season, you know, where games were getting called off and a fixture pile up. You know, people's health comes first. You know, there'll be restrictions coming in, I feel in January with the government. So, listen, we've just got to try and get as many games as we can on, but we've got to conform with what the government say as well.
Yeah, if that starts a collection of games that are, you know, in jeopardy, Ruffy, that's a real blow for us.
Yeah, it certainly is, because it's something that teams don't want, and I think the more pile up you get, I think you've got more chances of players catching it. You know, the Jags things are important. I think every club is anxiously trying to get all their players jagged and boosted. I know there are some players at certain clubs are not having it, but I think if they were convinced they have it, would have a better chance of falling into where we were last year.
Yeah, okay. Paul Brady says, Peter, I don't do Facebook. Does that mean I have no chance of winning the console for my granddaughter? Paul, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and also just hit the bell as well. As soon as you do that, you'll register with us. And if you can't do that, then hopefully with a little bit of luck, on PLZ Soccer's Twitter and Instagram, if you just go in there, look for the competition and put done underneath it and follow us, then you're in as well. We're taking them from right across the social media with a chance to win our Xbox Series S. So good luck with that. Hopefully you've got a real chance of winning this. Also, I did notice last night, we're going to talk about your game, I did notice last night one little boy took his life in his hands and ran onto the park at the end, dodged the stewards and somehow managed to get to Martin Boyle and get his top off him. Well done to him. I mean, I was waiting for the surge of the yellow jerseys.
Yeah, I think it was at Celtic Park the other week there where they were chasing the wee boy. And I was waiting for it. The game was just finished and the wee boy, fair play to him, you know, brave to jump the barrier and ran on straight for Boyle. And he managed to get his jersey. I think Big Gogic helped him off it, but I think that will come out Martin's wages. I know Hibs. I used to give away a few tops away. It used to come up minus 50 in your wages. So just really signed that new deal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strange thing. I mean, I love it. I've seen a few who would actually, hurdle so many obstacles to get to Ronaldo at times as well. I remember many pictures of Ronaldo and Cristiano just, happily would...
Happily, because he wanted to show his six-pack
exactly,
off.
Well, of course, if you had his body rough, you'd give him the top.
Yeah, you're right. It can be quite embarrassing. It happened to me at a Hibs Hearts game at Easter Road when a boy ran on and I started running away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's as simple as that. Sean Maxwell says, what if people have the same name when they're entering the competition? Well, they won't have the same tag. We'll be able to differentiate between them, Sean. Don't worry about it. We're on the case with our social media team in the background for our competition. We'll give you details of how you can enter it as well. As far as last night's concerned, I mean, honestly, there are sometimes you as a co-commentator make me laugh. So if it's not your catchphrases, it's oh, hey, ho, you're in full flight, you're giving it full licks for the Hibbies. But in the end, it was the maddest goal ever. I felt so sorry for Paul McMullen.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do about it. He's actually done the right thing. He's chased, he's harried back. That's what your manager would want you to do. He's ran 50, 60 yards and they were caught out. The mistake they made was they didn't bring Martin Boyle down quicker. And James McPake was angry about that last night. Take him down 60 yards for a goal. They let Boyle run and run and run. He just put the cross into an area, and if he doesn't header that, I think the boy Campbell's standing behind him just to take a touch and put it in the net. So he's kind of lunged at it. Fantastic header. I was dying to laugh, but it was one of them. It was a great header. Unfortunately for Dundee, the wrong end. But I thought Hibs deserved to win the game just about. I think Dundee had a great chance with Mullen in the second half, but I'd be a wee bit concerned about Dundee this season. I know that they're going to be down in that bottom 2 or 3, but other teams seem to be picking up results. Your Livingstons, your Ross Counties, even St Mirren picking up points. So I'm a bit concerned for Dundee this season.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Dundee in a moment in greater detail, but Ruffy, Hibs needed that. That's a second win only in 11 games.
Yeah, forget about that stat. It's the weekend's result, and you get a win, any kind of win going into a final. Everybody's focusing in the right direction. There's no negativity of, you beat 3-0 before you get into the final. So it's a win. Players will feel confident, that getting the win, and they'll be going into the final, not overconfident, but they'll be going in there knowing that on the day, if they produce the goods, they can beat the 2 top teams. They've already beat one of them. But they need to perform on the day.
Yeah, well, of course, all the talk, and I always say things don't just happen out of left field. If Robbie says something that suddenly just jars with me, it just, it's something unusual but insightful, then I think to myself, he's been tipped a wink. And you sat there last week and you pulled Sean Maloney out of left field. And it caught us, I mean, honestly, Ruffy, you and I were looking and thinking, Sean Maloney? But it was a great shout, but obviously you clearly had been doing your homework in the background. You'd been out for a pint with someone. That's how it happens.
If I did, I'd have a few quid on him. But no, listen, he was just one that I looked at the guys at the head of the market, and no disrespect, the guys have had good careers, management careers, Alec Neil, Derek McInnes, Neil Lennon. None of them really inspired me, and I think the Hibs supporters were in the same boat. I was looking at somebody out the box. Sean Maloney, for me, I know he was interested in the Aberdeen job before Glassy got it. I think he's been looking to maybe step out of the Belgium setup and get into as his own man.
Yeah,
he ticks a lot of boxes. He's just he's done his pro licence. He's at the Johan Cruyff Institute, so he's studying. He's a studier of the game, and I just think the way he wants to play, the stuff he must have learned off of Roberto Martinez, Thierry Henry, working with these players. I think it's a really, really exciting appointment if it does happen. It looks as if it is going to happen. Gary Caldwell possibly to come in beside him. So for me as a Hibs supporter, I'd be excited by them coming in.
Yeah, I'd be excited as well, Ruffy, if I thought that Sean Maloney, while talking to them about his own circumstances financially, had the same drive and commitment and desire that Hibs seem to be showing in the background with the stadium and how it's all coming together. They're putting together a structure. I love Ron Gordon to have been the man to sat down with Sean Maloney and said, look, we want you, but we're going to give you this in the January transfer window, and then we're going to let you build your team with extra cash, everything we can get at you to see if we can give you the best backing.
Well, I'm sure once he gets round the table with the owner, that's the kind of questions he's going to ask. It's the same with the Rangers manager when he came in. he'd be wanting assurances, you know, who's leaving in January, who's no leaving, what have I got, you know, and things like that. That's what managers have to do. They have to be upfront and honest with the owners, saying, like, I'm not just here because you want me, I'm here to take the club forward, and you need to be part of, you know, everything that I do. So I think the owners are, you know, generally want to get Hibs back to where they are.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and you mentioned there Gary Caldwell as well. He's just got a job too. Gary Caldwell's done well. He was scouting for Man City, looking at the players that are going out on loan everywhere.
He did a great job. The loan manager for Man City.
I mean, there's no pressure in
That's
that.
a fantastic job.
Look at players on loan. Yes, I am looking
Put
at
your
them.
report in. Yeah, that was a great job for him. But I think Gary will be itching to get back into first team football as well.
Yeah, okay. Maloney and Caldwell, does that float your boat? If you're a Hibs fan, are you excited by that? Are you excited by the potential for maybe some unusual signings coming your way? Sean Maloney will have tapped a different type of market. He may well come up with a few gems that Hibs fans will relish seeing. We'll only wait and wonder. Of course, now all roads lead to the Cup final, and the High Bees fans had the chance to get all the tickets, Ruffy, but that they wanted, but they haven't sold 500 of them.
No, and that's the thing we talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They did well, putting their case forward to get the extra 2.5, but they held their hands up and honest enough to send 500 back, and I'm sure 500 Celtic supporters will be pleased with that. I think it will be a fantastic atmosphere with 2 sets of fans there, so it's good that it's been handled properly.
Yeah, if Maloney's not in the dugout and David Gray is there to take the team, can you imagine the legend that is David Gray, who scored the winning goal in the Scottish Cup final, leads the team to a League Cup success over Celtic? I mean, honestly, you could write a book about it. You'll go into another stratosphere as a Hibs player.
I'm sure part of the deal would be keeping him on, yeah. I think he's well respected, unless Sean Maloney wants to bring in completely his own team. I think he'll have some part to play in it. But I think if Sean Maloney is the man, I think he should be in charge at the weekend. It's a different scenario for Van Bronckhorst. You know, it was a semi-final with him. This is a final. You know, it's not going to be held against him if he loses the final. But with Van Bronckhorst, it might have held against him being a semi-final. So I would think it'd be a massive boost if he is the guy that they're going to pick, if he was in place, that he does walk into that dressing room and takes charge. I think it'd be an asset for Hibs.
Yeah, but as Tam mentioned, there are many unknowns regarding whether he's got to isolate, coming back into the country, what the deal is with all that as well, how he feels about it, how Hibs feel about it. David Gray, I think, is just happy that there's clarity now, getting ready for the big occasion on Sunday.
It's great now that we know exactly what's happening. I think that's important for the players, just to make sure that they've got that clarity. The attention now changes to the Cup final. I know as a coaching staff our attention has been on the foreseeable future. That was been the plan moving forward, which was just a game at a time, a day at a time, and we weren't looking towards any Cup finals or anything. That was the message. But since this morning, having spoken to Ben, and whilst they conclude the process of finding another manager, we'll be in charge taking the team. So for the Cup final, and it's something that we now attention changes to that.
All focus on trying to win this one. They're going in as underdogs, and they certainly want to go in there with as strong a score as possible. And when I watched Nisbet come off last night, I thought every Hibs fan must be thinking, oh no.
Yeah, Nisbet come off and Cadden come off. 2 big players for Hibs, so they'll be looking to try and get them fit for the final. The plus points were Christian Doige come on. I thought he played well. He came on, he looked, for the first time since he's come back from his injury, he's back to his old self. So I think if he can play either Doige and Nisbet or Doige and Boyle up front, as a 2 up front, I think they would cause Celtic problems at the back. You've definitely got to play Boyle through the middle. I mean, we've seen at Hampden on those big spaces, he absolutely destroyed Rangers. So I think they would definitely play through the middle. It would just be to see if Cadden can play in that right wing back role. So I think David's got a few choices to make, you know, a few big calls to make, and we'll see how they go in the final.
Yeah, this is what David Gray had to say this morning about the update on the likes of Nisbet and Cadden.
Yeah, I'll say it's very early days. It's only 14 hours or so since the game last night, but early signs are very positive. They both walked off the pitch, which is great. And early signs today are positive. It's more just knocks rather than anything else, but we'll monitor that situation. And we'll find out in the coming days, but it seems positive at the minute.
Yeah, okay, so that's what Hibs are all about, getting ready for the big final. As far as Dundee are concerned, they are right in the mire. At times, I mean, I know Paul McGowan played the midfield role last night, and again, he's technically a really good player, but he's no Charlie Adam.
No, he isn't. Doesn't pull the strings like Charlie. You know, he is more mobile, obviously, than Charlie. Gets about the park, but that's not what they were looking for last night. They were looking for somebody, you know, to do what Charlie does, you know, bring other players into the game. And you're right, you know, I'm sure James McPake thinks one game they've turned it around, and then the next game they're back to where they were. You could see his frustration last week against Ross County with the goals that they lost. So they've got a lot of work ahead, but I think they'll be judged when they're playing the teams that are down there. I've obviously had Ross County, but there'll be other fixtures where they really need to win, because I think there's going to be 2 or 3 teams down there now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this is what you call dogfight. Now, last night, I have to tell you, I had a look at Lee Griffiths coming on, and I'm thinking of going back to playing 11s, Tam. I just feel as if the shape should not be in the road of it. I'm going to play a kind of a Ferenc Puskas role, just in the middle of the park, picking passes, not moving, because boy, he looks as if he'd struggle to get a game in our 5-a-side team at the moment.
Yeah, he wasn't in the greatest of shape last night. That's down to him. You know, I don't think that's down to no playing. You still should be looking after yourself. So Cummins come on just before him, and then Griffiths come on. So listen, both those, if they can get themselves fit and you know, be hungry, I think it's all about hunger now, isn't it? With the guys.
It's December. It's December, Tam.
Yeah.
And you're saying if these guys can get
I
themselves
know.
fit, my God almighty.
Yeah, it's not good enough if you're Dundee and you're paying their wages. You know, particularly for Griffiths, where you don't think he's in 100% good shape to go and play 90 minutes. So with the same problem with Celtic, you know, he said he needed games, but I think it's changed now. The football's changed now. You don't get games to get yourself fit. You know, it used to be, give him 6 games to get yourself fit. No, you've got to be ready to come in and be ready to play. Lewis Stevenson and Darren McGregor, 2 great examples at Hibs, who you never see them for 6-7 weeks, and then they come in and they can play 90 minutes. So I think
if he's as bad as what you're saying, if January comes and Dundee send him back to Celtic, I think Celtic will just rip up his contract. I think he's had enough chances.
He's never going back to Celtic.
No,
even if they send him back,
right,
and
that's
I don't
what
even
I mean.
know,
if they send him back, I think they'll say, right,
I don't
enough.
even know if they're allowed to send him back. But if they are, and he does go back, because he's been a failure.
No, he has at Dundee. He scored 1 goal, I think, in 11 or 12 games. That's not good enough. That's not why he was brought in. So I think that Dundee will be looking to offload him and bring a younger, hungrier striker in, try and get them goals. And as you said, well, he goes from there. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. It's again a great waste of talent, and he had it in abundance as well. And of course, Jason Cummings, I think, should be, with his ability, playing on a more regular basis as well and scoring lots of goals. But that hasn't materialised either. I don't know what it is about Hibs. I don't know what it is about Hibs players. There's just a generation, almost 2 generations of Hibs players who've had, so much talent and ability. But there's, I don't know what it is, the culture, the people around them, the area, or whatever. I lived in Leith, and I mean, it's a great place, but is there something in the air?
No, I don't think there is.
Frame off 9 or 10 players who should have played at the top level for a long time, and I include you in it.
No, you're probably right. I don't know what it is, but Hibs always seem to produce good strikers. Or good strikers. I know Lee Griffiths never come through the youth system.
Good midfielders.
Yep.
Good fullbacks.
Gary O'Connor, Riordan's probably the 2 you'd mention. But no, it's just a waste. I think Lee Griffiths is 31 years old. He's still got plenty to offer. But if he's not prepared to get himself in proper shape, he's not going to fulfil his potential. Sadly.
You would think it would strike a note, because we've seen all the present day players now. They're all machines. No, if you're in a
can't just keep buying talent now. You need to be fit.
I know. If you're in a dressing room with fit guys, and you think it's okay to walk about the way you are, no, that doesn't send out the right signals up here.
Yeah, but I don't think, and I hope I'm not being too disingenuous to a lot of footballers in Scotland, but I don't think there's a higher percentage, or enough of a percentage, positive sense, that have the same mentality as the Premier League in England. You have to be super fit. you have to have a high work rate. You have to have the talent. You have to have the commitment, the desire. I mean, I give you, quite simply, in the last, 48 hours I've been in the company, I had a sit down with Chris Hoy. And Chris Hoy just basically said, you have to put it in on a Tuesday when the rain is belting down and you have to get out on your bike and you're not winning a gold medal and you're not getting crowds cheering you, you have to put it in. And it's the same for footballers. And I wonder, was there from a personal point of view, Tam, and I don't mean to focus on you and bring about a bit of pain, but was there something in there that you thought was just missing from you? That you had a long career, you had a lot of clubs.
Dedication, hunger. For me, when I was a kid coming through at 17, 18, 19, the hunger I had was unbelievable. There wasn't many better young strikers than me in the country, but once you get a bit of success, you get a bit of money, you get a wee bit of fame or whatever, then you can either go to the next level and say, right, I want more, or you can settle for that. And unfortunately for me, I kind of settled for that. And I did play hours later on, but I didn't fulfil my potential nowhere near it. And that's why when I look at Lee Griffiths has got more ability and he's left peg than half of Scottish football, you know. But it's not about ability now. It's about you've got to be able to run. You've got to be mobile. You've got to be athletic to get about the park. And you can't just rely on your ability now. You've got to be fit. And you're right about Chris Hoy, throw Andy Murray in there as well. These guys were dedicated, and if the guys with the talent in this country had that same dedication, we'd start producing a lot more world-class players.
Yeah, absolutely. You always get the odd anomaly that's played at the absolute top level for a long period of time, and they somehow manage to skate through it just with talent. But talent's not enough. You need hard work.
Not now.
And with that in mind, Ruffy, how did you get through that?
That was a different era, by the way.
How did you get through that period of being a top-class goalkeeper, but being able to party hard as well?
I don't know. And it's not just me, but that was the lifestyle of footballers. I remember at Hibs, we would train from, say, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And then after that, a group of us would go and have a lunch somewhere, and have a couple of beers.
Liquid?
Yeah, a couple of beers. Nothing like outrageous or anything like that, but that was part and parcel. And even at Partick Thistle, on a Friday, after training, we used to go down to Jackie Nelly's and have rolls and bacon and Knickerbocker Glories. That
was not what I was expecting him to say.
Especially when you mentioned Knickers.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
But that's what it was like, you know. I have to say there was no alcohol consumed, for me anyway, after a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
But do you know what it makes me? Do you know what it makes me amazed at? And I love him. He's been a pal for a long, long time. Frank Macca.
Yeah.
I mean, Macca would chase an empty bag on a windy day.
And Mark McGee.
Well, Mark McGee, but I don't think Mark McGee is in the same category as Macca. Macca was partying, heading to Stringfellows. He was the absolute darling of English football with West Ham.
He wouldn't be able to do that now.
Well,
he wouldn't get the same level he done, with West Ham and Scotland now.
No.
He wouldn't. He just wouldn't. You wouldn't get away with it.
No, absolutely not. And of course, the best line Mark ever said to me is sometimes I go and visit my old houses that I used to live in, which sums it up beautifully. Okay, listen, it's a sad indictment of some footballers who just don't work hard, even when they've got all that talent. There's a lot of footballers working hard on that Rangers side at the moment. They're playing well, they're playing for their manager, they're following his advice and the way he wants them to play. And they look as if, tonight against St Johnstone, top against bottom, if they're in the mood, Rangers could hammer St Johnstone.
Yeah, they certainly could, but we know that St Johnstone can be dogged. They can sit in there. They've beaten the Ibrox before, and spoilers. They're spoilers of these kind of games, and sometimes if you defend well and everybody works accordingly, you can get something, but I don't see it tonight. I just can't see it tonight. No, the form that they're on. They're not scoring goals, so I can't see them scoring at all, and it just depends how well they defend tonight. And Xander Clark, for me, will be the busiest man on the park. So for him, it's the defence and him, depending on what the result is going to be at this game tonight.
Yeah, it could be a situation. I don't think there's a team. I'd love to look at any team, maybe Wigan, who won the FA Cup but were relegated, but I can't think of a team that won a double and were relegated in the next season. That takes some doing, Tam.
Yeah, and they're in poor form at the minute. You know, I seen them a couple of weeks ago against Hibs, and I was shocked at how poor they were. I know they get a man sent off, but and things haven't improved. Ruffy's right; they're really struggling to score goals. They brought Butterfield in, I think, the Australian guy, a bit of experience. Hopefully, he can make a difference to them. But I don't see Rangers having any problems. If Rangers go out and approach the game, you know, in the proper manner, go out, you know, and start well, play at a tempo, St Johnstone will be able to live with them. If it goes half an hour, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 0-0, 1-0, St Johnstone hang about, then you can see them maybe nicking something. But if Rangers get that early goal in the first 10-15 minutes, I think it could be 3 or 4-0.
Yeah, the little downside to this whole COVID situation, and we're not passing comment on whether you take it or not. We're talking about the situation where Rangers confirmed that due to the SFA and the SPFL guidelines, players will no longer take pictures or sign signatures for fans. That's always the nightmare of it all, isn't it, Ruffy? Just that personal touch, that's a blow.
It is a blow. It's a blow to the supporters. But the football clubs now have to look at every avenue to stop this virus affecting their team. You know, I told you the other day there, we were playing Inverness in Boxing Day, and we were going down the road of taking 30 cars. You know, players to go in, like my car, or somebody who's double vaccinated and got a booster, or some other director's car, or some family member. They weren't going to go in buses at all. They weren't going to take the chance of getting in buses. So that's where we're going. But obviously, whatever came out yesterday sort of didn't put that slant on it. So, but they have to be conscious that they're back to where they were now at the training. You know, where they train, who they sit with. You know, all that kind of stuff, and it must be very, very difficult. I think there was a stage when they were taking their own training gear home and washing them. You know, it was that bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they had to do. The training gear that they personally wore, they had to take away, clean it, and bring it back again.
You ever washed your own gear, Ruffy?
I don't think I did. I maybe did it at Partick Thistle the way back in the days, but
No, absolutely not. There you are, fairly big time. Tom, whose boots did you clean when you were a boy?
Oh, whose boots? Pat McGinley, tightest man alive.
Yeah.
Big Mixer, no far behind them.
Yeah.
Stevie Crawford, great guy, gave me a good tip. Frank Sosie cleaned his boots.
Oh, did you?
Cleaned his boots. Took them home one day to Springburn, and somebody nicked them outside my house. I left them outside my door in Springburn. Somebody stole them. So I had to get in Monday morning, and me Parky was doing his box, Donald Park. He says, "But you taking his boots home for?" I says, "I want to show my pals, because my pals didn't believe I cleaned Sosie's boots." I went back and I was like, so I think one of my pals nicked them, to be honest with you. So I had to get in and say to Frank, explain to him what happened, and big Frank, cool as a cucumber, it's okay, I've got another 4 pair. He had the copers and all that.
Is that right?
I was the whole weekend bottling it, couldn't make my way a day.
Wouldn't it be great though if you're cleaning his boots, and obviously you're looking at him, you're thinking, I mean, I thought he was fantastic as a player. Did you get his top?
No, I didn't. That's one of the things that sadly, I played with him, and he when he was a manager at Hibs, he gave me a 5-year deal as a manager.
Is that right?
So he rated me as a
Cool.
as a player and a boot boy. Must have been a good boot boy, but he gave me a 5-year deal.
It must have been sensational. But Sosie, how you didn't ask for his top?
Which star cleaned man boots at Hibs?
John Collins. Or was it John Collins?
I gave him a tenner if he scored 10 goals in a season.
For the reserves?
No, the first team.
Oh, for the first team?
aye.
Yeah.
What did he say? I'd rather have protein bar.
You're a bad man. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't in the press up, so I'm talking to you.
And by the way, put your shirt on. Anyway, apart from anything else, listen, right now I'm looking at the game and I've got Rangers to win 2-0.
Sorry, St Johnstone fans, but I'm going to go for 4-0 to Rangers.
4-0.
I think
Have you got that down in the prediction?
Yes, I think
4-0.
Yep, I think
I think it's one or the other. It's either 2-0 or 4.
Yeah, what have you gone for?
I've gone for 2.
Yeah, just to be safe.
I have to keep people around about you, so they don't jump away.
Yeah, absolutely. This predictor is becoming an obsession with people, although someone did mention to me only in the last couple of days, it would be great if next season we opened it up as a competition and let all the punters in on it. You know, we need to come up with a howitzer of a prize though, which I think is a great idea. I think it was Darren who mentioned it to me. I'll need to check. It's a great idea.
It's a great idea that a different person every week, not the one person. I think a different listener should get a chance to do it. So right through the season, and it just...
What happens if they finish bottom?
Take
take
us all.
us
Take 25,000 people out for a meal. Yeah, absolutely, Ruffy. No, I think it would be great if they went into it and we put the competition together, and then there's an absolute howitzer prize at the end of it.
Oh, so the winner of the public
winner of the public one
got a big prize. Oh, that'd be good, aye.
That would be good, Ruffy. We need to work out the mechanics of it. But Darren suggested that yesterday to me, which was a great idea, Darren. If we can make that happen, we certainly will for next season. Okay, so we've all emphatically gone for Rangers on this one. You can give us your view on how you think it's all going to go. It's these Wednesday nights where, Ruffy suggests if it's midweek, there's a shock on the cards. So if there's a shock on the cards, is it happening at Dingwall, Tam McManus?
Don't think so. I did say that I thought Celtic would struggle against Motherwell at the weekend. I know they didn't struggle in terms of opportunities, but 1-0 was narrow. I think it'll be something similar tonight. I think they'll have one eye on the cup final. I think there'll be resting players. I know Kyogo's touch and go for the cup final, and they've got Rangers coming up. I don't think they'll risk him in the final.
Yeah.
They'd rather have him but they want him fit for the whole firm game. So I think Celtic got by. Ross County in good form, tough place to go. I think Celtic will just sneak it 2-1.
Yeah, it's a strange dilemma because obviously there's no danger they'll play him tonight. I can't see it.
No chance.
But the one thing I noticed about them, Tam, is when they don't have a number 9, they start going through that
Jota.
tippy-tappy right round, left and right,
and I think Giacomakis, I think he's struggling as well. So Ajeti, listen, I think Hibs, if you're a Hibs support, you're looking at that final and going, they've got a great opportunity. Hibs, Celtic could be missing 2 massive players, Jota and Kyogo, but I think Celtic will just have enough to go up there and get the win.
Yeah, interestingly enough, in the managers' union, Ange Postecoglou has a lot of respect for Malky Mackay.
I think, I think they've improved a lot since then. I think Malky Mackay's done a super job with them. I think probably when we played them, I think most people probably would have written them off for this year with the start to the season they had, and probably they had a lot of young players in the team when we played them. So, but they've improved, and the results probably don't reflect their improvement because the games I've watched, they've been good value.
Yeah, I agree with Ange Postecoglou. Ross County have been really good. The way they've played the game as well. I mean, they play some nice football, Ruffy. If anything, they just haven't been able to keep things solid at the back, and that's been their undoing.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, but they're coming up against one of the best teams in the league. They can play the Dundees and they can play Livingstons and all that, but this is a different kettle of fish. We know that Celtic don't have any strikers, but last Saturday they had 23 shots.
Man City had none last night.
On target.
Yeah.
23 shots with no striker.
Yeah.
So it's the midfield that's going to kill you. So the midfield boys are now midfield strikers because the Turnbull, they're all in there wanting a goal. And I think that's where the goals will come for tonight. I think Mickey Johnson's struggling as well. So for me, it's Celtic. I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah. What did you make of Ross County when they played Hibs? Because they beat Hibs.
I thought that Hibs' first half were the better side, but Ross County have got some talented players. 2 wingers are good, Hungbo and Charles Regan Cook. I think are excellent wingers. Jordan White's up there, a big presence. They've got a good balance about them. The boy Harry Clark, I don't know if he's back, right back on loan from Arsenal, is a superb player, very good. So I think Ross County have got some really good players. I think they played a lot of good stuff earlier in the season without getting the results, but I think now they're starting to get results and they'll go into that game tonight full of confidence. Okay,
I'm going Ross County 1, Celtic 3 because having watched them against Motherwell, I think going forward, and of course in the last 4 league games, they've only lost 1 goal against Aberdeen. So slowly but surely this back line at Celtics is getting used to each other. And of course Joe Hart has been pulling off, great saves.
Yeah, I think that the clean sheets have kept Celtic in the title race. Hearts at home 1-0. Motherwell 1-0. We couldn't see that earlier in the season. We couldn't see Celtic keeping a clean sheet, but now they've got a bit of solid about them, and the goalkeeper's superb. So I think Ross County will score, but I think Celtic will win 2-1.
Yeah. From your own point of view?
I've went 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. Okay. Listen, with that in mind, you can give us your thoughts on it. Just one little side story on Celtic, Ruffy. It looks as if Ange Postecoglou is really pushing the board out with the board to try and get the 3 targets that they're looking at: Maeda, Hatate and Ideguchi. All at advanced stage, according to reports in Japan. So suddenly you'll have a Celtic side with 4 Japanese players in it.
Well, if they're as good as the one that they've got now, you know, I'm sure the fans will be happy with that. Certainly, it's a different kind of player that we're used to seeing. He certainly is different, Kyogo, and if the other ones have the same technical ability as him, it just depends how quickly they settle in. But certainly, I don't know who's in charge at Celtic now, because whoever was before took ages and ages and ages and ages to bring somebody in. So they've certainly learnt a lesson for that, and I'm sure the fans will be hoping that they do all jump in the plane at the same time and come over.
Well, fair play to the manager, because he's quite simply said, well, we're signing players at the tail end of the summer, not good, want them in early, could get them in before that Old Firm game, and if he knows them and he knows their strengths and weaknesses, you know, you wouldn't bet against him throwing in one or two of them.
Surprise factor,
Yeah.
you know, it could be that. You know, Rangers obviously and Celtic know each other very well. You know, they see each other playing every week. You know, it could be a little X factor, you know, bringing these guys over. But I think now it's very, very important for Celtic to bring people in at the start of the window. I don't think you can afford to do what they've done in the summer there and bring guys in at the tail end. You know, you're chasing your tail. Celtic started the season slowly. They can't start the January, you know, after the break, they can't start that slowly. So they've got to get players in. And Postecoglou will just keep putting pressure on the board. Listen, we need that, we need this, we need that. And if Celtic can get them in, then listen, we might have a real tight title race.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, did you give us your score, Ruffy?
For Celtic 2-0.
2-1 Celtic.
Okay, thanks to everyone who's posted their own assessment of how that match is going to go. Interestingly enough, we did mention at the top of the programme, if you'd like to win yourself an Xbox Series S, we'll let Gabriel Antoniazzi tell you how you do it.
Christmas is the time for giving, and this is your chance to win an Xbox One with us here at PLZ Soccer. All you've got to do is subscribe to the PLZ Soccer YouTube channel and share this video on your Facebook page. The winner will be announced next week, just in time for Christmas, so good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to hit the subscribe on YouTube as well, and share our stream if you can, if you're able to do that, and of course get some of your friends joining the football family. You're in with a chance of winning that fantastic Xbox, and we're going to be giving away a lot more over the festive period. So Hearts are going to have their AGM, and they're only going to do formal business for a short period due to the restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the clubs now will be doing their AGMs with Zoom. Again, I can't see any problems at Hearts. You know, the shareholders and everybody must be happy with the way things are going financially and on the park. So another AGM that should run very, very smoothly.
Just one of those ones where maybe some Hearts fans will think, what if we'd pushed the boat out a wee bit?
Yeah, possibly. I think I said 10 million. I might have taken more than that. You know, judging with recent results, I thought Hearts were very unlucky on Sunday. Thought they played well, never took their opportunities. You know, Rangers did, and defended strongly after that. So I think that Hearts definitely pole position to finish third. And as Ruffy says, when the team's doing well on and off the park, these AGMs run smoothly. It's when you're down the bottom of the league, things can get a wee bit heated.
Yeah, I think the good thing is, because it's such a short period of time, I think they might do the Q&A for the board at a later date, which makes a lot of sense. And I think it's easier to do that, Ruffy, if you've got a team that are up the top end.
Yes, I mean, if you do an AGM with Zoom, you know, it's an easy way to get out of a difficult question, because you just say, sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're all talking at one time. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I thought at the weekend it was the last chance to suggest, okay, we could maybe get to January and strengthen again. If anything, I think they lack firepower.
Yeah, they do. You can't rely on boys all the time, you know, and the midfield boys don't score that many either. But no, I think every team's got targets, and I think Hearts' target should be Europe. And that would be a massive boost for the Hearts supporters.
I think they like to bring in two strikers. I don't think
I think every good team should have three.
Aye, I don't think is it Nanduli, the big boy. I don't think he's good enough for Hearts. He's not good enough. I think Boyce is definitely good enough, but you need guys in there that can either play up front with Boyce or put pressure on him, and that's going to cost money. Yeah,
it's a strange thing. No harm to Liam Boyce, but I think they need somebody a standard above again. I think they need somebody, you know, if anything, you know, Hearts' attitude should be try and look for some of the ones that have got real potential in the country and try and get them early again, you know, as well as developing their own. Try and get out there and get somebody who's got real potential early on. You know, maybe look at someone who's playing at the Championship, who's coming forward, or at all their scouting system, to try and get people who are maybe that wee bit above, because Boyce had 3 chances against Rangers. He just didn't have that finish. You need that little clinical element.
It's not like him, he's usually pretty clinical. He scored the winner against Livingston the week before, I think.
Yeah, but that's Livingston.
Yeah, I know that, but he's had one of these days where it's not went for him. He's not hit the back of the net, but I think overall his record's been pretty good. But I think Joe Savage is a good head of recruitment at Hearts. I think he's got a lot of contacts, particularly down south. So, listen, Hearts will be looking to bring in, for me, 2 strikers.
Yeah, it's an Edinburgh derby tonight, by the way. I don't know if you're aware.
It is, no. I'd like to wish Hibs women all the best. It's a big game. I think that's at Tynecastle tonight. Hibs are taking 1,000 fans, so that'll be a great occasion. Hopefully Hibs can get the same result as they did at Easter Road, 3-0 I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be long. Certainly, maybe not. Let me think about this. Maybe not in our lifetime, Ruffy, but I think there will be a time where, there's 3,000 fans going to be at Tynecastle to watch this game tonight between Hearts and Hibs in the women's game. You'll have a full capacity stadium watching that game because of the talent on show and because of
investment maybe.
Sorry?
The investment maybe.
Yeah,
overall.
I was going to say the investment, the structure, the promotion, the marketing of it.
Yeah, we're fully behind our women's team, and I think that's a good thing. Where they're progressing, every senior club has got a women's team, and if the right people are in charge, they will promote it because they're part of your community, they're part of the team. They wear the same strips as you, so why not help them? Why not every opportunity you get to back them? And personally, our club are really behind them. We just got promoted this year, and if we finish middle of the table, it'll be excellent. But there are more and more young kids now buying into it. They all want to be part of going to see their club.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other little stories I want to get your thoughts on, guys. Tam, English Premier League clubs, this is a story saying that they could dock wages of unvaccinated players. Now, there's a legal challenge if ever I've seen one.
It's going to open up a massive can of worms. I heard Callum Davison speaking today about it actually and saying, listen, it's your body, your choice kind of thing. And I think that's got to be all over. People have got the right to make their own decisions. I don't particularly agree with docking wages and all that. I think you're going down a very slippery road in terms of, suing people and contracts and all that. So listen, I think if you want to get double vaccinated, do it. I think we're all double vaccinated here. Yeah. And if you don't want to do it, then that's your choice as well.
Triple.
You're triple, aye. When are you eligible for your third one? You're 40, is it 40 now? No? Because I'm 40 now. Am I eligible for it?
No, I think they're trying to get everybody the booster. Cool. If you can apply, yeah.
Let's not discuss it in great length, by the way.
All right, sorry.
It then becomes, not you guys, but it then becomes people pontificating that I am promoting vaccinations.
No,
when
I don't think nobody does in this show.
It's a democratic right to do what you want to do what you want to do, but you might not get into certain places. It's as simple as that. As far as down south in the football, as well as I must admit I was watching the Highbees last night and thoroughly enjoying Tam's co-commentary. He was absolutely magnificent, and I completely forgot all about Man City leads Norwich against Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard's side back to winning ways. This time a 2-0 win over Norwich.
Yeah, I was desperate to see the Leeds United manager after the game translating his. How he felt about that.
He just said one word, didn't he? Pumping.
Yeah. Did he? Yeah. Isn't it great though? Isn't it amazing? I turned around and said to him there, and Norwich and Aston Villa, 2-0 win over Aston. And he just
ignored it.
I'm not going to speak about it. I'm speaking about Leeds, by the way. Don't you bother with your questions to me.
Because
I'm taking the one I want to answer.
Yeah. No, but it is great for Steven Gerrard. He's went in there, and had some fantastic results, and his object is to get them into Europe. He's already said that, they're a European side, they should be playing in Europe, and he's certainly going about it the right way.
Yeah, and if you're talking about one of the best players in the English Premier League, Guardiola's been singing his praises after last night's 7-0 thrashing of Leeds United. It can only be Kevin De Bruyne.
And this type of games are a little bit more open, that they put a lot of players in front and a lot of players wide, and any transitions, Kevin is the best. Sometimes he struggles a little bit when the team settles so deep and so tight, like, for example, Wolves. But we are pleased. We need him, So we are together 6 seasons. I know him quite well. He knows me quite well. And what he has done for me is everything. And he's been so important, and we need him.
Yeah, no surprise in him. And the goal last night was outrageous. I mean, I don't even know. Ruffy has a great, bit of advice for any young goalkeeper coming through. If there's somebody hits a ball and you've got no chance of getting it, just don't go for it.
Don't dive.
And the Leeds United goalkeeper, why did he bother Ruffy?
I know. But De Bruyne is just poetry in motion. He's got everything, doesn't he? He's got everything. He never ever looks under pressure. He just glides about the park, and some of the goals he scores are
Just out of curiosity, at Anfield in 1977, when Toshak hit that brilliant shot, were you thinking to yourself, this looks in, I think I might not go for this, and then you produced that wonder save?
No, I just went for it. I knew he was trying to lob it over the top of me, so I just took a chance. But hit the bar, fortunately, it could have went in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you get a touch on it?
Oh, touch? You kidding me? Go on YouTube. It's one of the finest saves you'll see from a Scotland goalkeeper. Absolutely.
You have gloves on, Ruffy?
I don't think you wore gloves, Ruffy.
Did you never wear gloves? Is that how your hands are knackered?
Well, it's because I've got that. I don't know what
Tendons
it's called.
thing?
Tendon thing.
Yeah. Is that why you play so many drop shots at the tennis and have me running for them?
I have to hold my hands up and I made a mess of the tennis tie break last night, and I did 4 bad shots in the tie break.
Bottle
But,
it.
the highlight was obviously at the end when we lost trying to dodge his racket. It was
Again, he's so huffy, isn't he? Honestly.
The quote. I remember the quote. The quote was, "God, paid £100 for this racket," and he's just bounced it off the ground about 3 times. I feel like saying,
150 quid, honestly. I thought to myself, honestly, I just looked at him.
See if he ever does it again and he goes out to pick it up and it's all smashed. That'll be
a bit like your golf trolley.
I've got a spare, don't worry about it. Anyway, one man that I really feel sorry for today, my heart goes out to him, is of course Sergio Aguero. He's had to give up football and retire because of a heart scare. Gabriel Antoniazzi picks up the story.
Sergio Aguero has officially retired from professional football aged 33 to protect his health after being diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat condition. Kun Aguero was born in Buenos Aires and came through the local side Independiente as a teenage sensation before earning a move to Atletico Madrid at 18 years old. He was a revelation in Spain, scoring over 100 goals and forming formidable partnerships with Fernando Torres and then Diego Forlan, lifting the 2010 UEFA Cup along the way. He moved to Manchester City in 2011 and scored a record 260 goals across a decade at the club, including arguably the most iconic in English top-flight history, the last-minute 2012 league-winning goal to win City their first title in 44 years. He helped the club to 5 titles in total and ended as the Premier League's 4th all-time top scorer with 184 goals, before leaving for his dream move to Barcelona. But it didn't turn out to be that, as he struggled with injuries, scoring just once, albeit in true Aguero style. It was against Real Madrid. He is Argentina's 3rd all-time top scorer with 41 in 101 caps, winning the Copa America last year, an Olympic gold medal in 2008 and reaching the 2014 World Cup final. One of the greatest strikers of his generation, Aguero lifted 19 trophies and his 427 goals will live long in the memory.
Yeah, what a career for someone having to give it up so young, but absolutely incredible. 427 goals in 786 games, 4th all-time top Premier League goal scorer, 3rd in Argentina's history. For me, in the last 10 years, he was my favourite player in the English Premier League, and I just thought he was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think over the last 5 or 10 years, I don't think there's anybody better in terms of him. The way he plays, his goals, and phenomenal player. I was just talking about it, just watching that video. For me, he's up there in the top 3 with Thierry Henry and Drogba. That would be my top 3 of the kind of modern era in the Premier League. But fantastic player. A shame, but he's had a great career, and your health always comes first. I
thought it was a lovely touch that Pep Guardiola flew over to the press conference to watch him confirm his retirement, and of course, no surprise, Sergio Aguero was in tears.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get a good relationship with a manager. A lot of players, really buy into the manager, and it becomes not a footballing thing, but a personal thing. It becomes a pal, it becomes your best mate, and that looks as if that's what happened there. It doesn't happen all the time, because obviously it depends what kind of manager you've got, but that seems to be, something more than football.
Yeah, and just to finish, Ruffy, again, this is something that Tam will obviously, raise a smile at, but I thought I'd ask you being a goalkeeper. Juan Fernandez was caught on VAR making a cutthroat gesture to the away fans, and he was sent off before the match started before Cerro Portino and Olympia were playing in Paraguay's Super Cup final. So he gets sent off. They lost the match 3-1, and now Cerro Portino are thinking we might not buy him after all. He was there on loan.
Has he been kidnapped or anything? No. It's not good. It's not a sign to do. Certainly over there.
It's not in Paraguay. You're right, Ruffy. I don't know about you, but would you ever gesture to the crowd? I mean, I would.
Never.
Would you?
No, the furthest I ever went was having a laugh with the Rangers supporters at Ibrox when somebody threw on a Rangers hat.
Yeah.
It had Rangers on it.
I saw that photograph.
I put it on for 10-15 minutes. And then when I thought I'd done it, I went, what did I do that for?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Silly.
Absolutely.
Silly thing to do.
Can you imagine now, because you're such a likeable character, but can you imagine Ruffy now in goal for Hibs? The Rangers fans throw him a Rangers cap, as a noise up, and he puts it on for 15 minutes now. He would not be able to get out of the house, would he?
No chance to get away with that now.
How nuts things are now.
No chance to get away with that. I can remember playing the Derby game. It was 2003, so it was the anniversary of the 7-0 game.
Oh,
Hibs won 7-0. We played at Tynecastle, and Ian Murray, the quietest guy in the world, he got 1973 in green writing, in green numbers in the back of his head, right? And he's going to run it in the Hearts fans, you can imagine. And I can't remember the score, but somebody whizzed a half bottle of vodka, Glen's vodka, and it just whizzed by his head. There was a bit off of that in it. And Big Ian just opened it up to a wee swig and threw it back into the crowd. It was brilliant. Threw it back onto the track at the side of it.
Yeah.
But aye, that was a cracker for Big Ian. That was his best banter ever, because he's getting in.
No banter.
No.
I mean, he's a good lad. We've had him on the show a few times, but I would never associate him with
quietest guy ever.
A noise up like that, and it's not the type of thing you would do, is it?
No, I think I would just do the quiet one if I scored and all that. I would never do anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a lap dance.
We had a player at Hibs, and it was a Hibs Hearts derby game at Easter Road. It was New Year's Day, and we were all sitting in the dress. I'm not telling you who the player was, but for a laugh, he came in drinking a bottle of vodka. Because it was like New Year's Day and that, and as a joke, and the manager just didn't find it funny.
My favourite one. I mean, there's been a great few noise ups. I mean, I love that. I mean, obviously we can think of Craig Beattie scoring and then running round and taking the top off. My favourite one was because obviously I worked with him for such a long time. Was DJ. The Celtic fans were giving him pelters. I mean, all through the game they were calling him everything under the sun, and the big man in true fashion went up and rattled one into the back of the net, and he ran towards the jungle, just bouncing his chest, and he could bounce his own chest at that time, so you can imagine the pelters he was getting. But it was such a good laugh, because sometimes fans, if you give it out, you've got to take it back, Tam, haven't you?
No, you've got to, and that's what annoys me when you get me there, like Eric Cantona. That guy was giving him sticks. So I think Big Eric was
quite condoning jumping in. And
no, I think Big Eric was well within his
When
range.
you do something like Big Derek, you've got to make sure it's in the last minute. You've got to make sure there's no any comeback.
Oh no, I'll tell you, one just came to my mind there.
Right,
I was playing for Derry City against Linfield, which is basically Celtic against Rangers.
Yeah.
So we drew them. There were different leagues in Ireland, but we drew them in the Satanta Cup. And we played at Windsor Park, and Derry City took about 3,000 fans up there, and the flares and all that. It was a great atmosphere. And we were getting beat 1-0, and the last minute of the game, boy played me through. I went through, bang, scored the winner. And right in front of Windsor Park, all of their fans, I ran into them like that and kissed the Derry City badge. Oh my God! There's a video on YouTube somewhere. There's phones, coins, bottles, and I had to get a police escort. Out of Windsor Park, because they're all hanging off the stand and all that. They walked by with Anfield fans. Oh, my knees! I thought we were going to get kneecapped. Thankfully, never.
Damn, that is
never do that again. By the way,
one game I would not actually think about it.
The Derry City boys after the game are going, "You have your heat."
Good one to finish. Excellent. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe. You can find out all the details of how you win the Xbox, but simple plan is to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell and the notifications. If you do follow us on Facebook, PLZ Soccer's Facebook page, then by all means like, share, follow, and you're in the hat. Simple as that. We really look forward to you doing that. Great story from Tam there, great stories from Ruffy. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and you'll be back with us tomorrow, where another man who's good at telling stories will be with us. Tam Cowan joins us on Thursday for the show. And don't forget also, we've got some great dream teams. Tam's dream team is well worth listening to. We've all on the team picked a few of our favourite 11s, and hopefully you'll enjoy that over the festive period. The best way to keep up to date with all the breaking stories, PLZ Soccer has the app. If you download it in the Apple Store or in Google Play, you'll get all the breaking stories north, south of the border, European and world football, and you can also, in the submission section, post a little note to us as well. So from Tam, Ruffy and myself, Peter Martin, thanks to you for watching.